You are listening to the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network. Visit pencilandpaperproductions.podbean.com to find more great podcasts.
Welcome to the Palace of Megapixels. This is Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo!
And welcome to Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. I'm your host, Stephen White. With me, as always, is my co-host, Lacey Finley.
Happy Monday.
How are you doing?
I'm all right.
Good.
Living the dream. Trying to keep on going on, man.
Understood.
I've turned it into an old lady. My hip has been hurting for like a month straight. And I guess I'm going to have to cave and finally get it looked at or something because it's... I can't sit for too long, can't stand for too long. I'm like, I could just pretty much lay on the floor and hope it all comes to an end very soon. But other than that, all right. How are you?
Good. So I wanted to share some things before we get too deep in. I guess a little progress on some things. First of all, I finally got a call about the internet.
What?
So I could have good internet soon.
Yes.
Maybe.
When?
I don't know when.
Oh, well, they've been telling me that for a while.
Yeah, and that's what kind of, because when I heard the call, I was like, cool, it's about to happen. And they were just like, all right, so what we got to do is we got to come make sure that it's hooked up outside. And then when we make sure that it's hooked up outside, then we will send that order to another person. And then they will call you for an installation inside. And I'm going, okay, when could that be?
Okay. Yeah.
And they're just like, well, it, depends. I mean, I got some kind of possibility of 6 to 8 weeks. And I was like,
what?
Right.
That's like 2 more months.
I know.
Come on.
Like, all right, well, come on. So hopefully soon. Maybe things will shift, but that's that. Secondly, been working on the animated series, and I'm putting in a little extra work for a joke, and I really, really hope that it will be funny. I'm going to be amused by it, I feel.
Sometimes that's all that matters.
Yeah, and I really hope other people will be amused by it just the same, but I had to, for this joke to work, I had to kind of rethink it in a way. In the sense that I don't need to match the designs of everything in the background to what it was. I just have to kind of invoke what it is.
Yeah, give the hint
so
out without giving it away.
Right. So I was sitting there, and at first I was trying to map it out identical, and I was like, no, it's a completely different format. Yeah. Completely different design. Invoke the idea. So I've been working on these backdrops, these animation frames and things like that. I haven't seen it in motion yet, but I've kind of done like a very crude jump back and forth between frames as fast as I could just to see how it would look. And it looks really good. So I'm excited to see it in full motion.
I can't wait.
And I can't wait for everybody else to see it.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. So what you been playing?
Well, let's see. What have I been playing this week? Oh, I did play and finish Simulacra 2. Finally got past that part where I wasn't sure if it was bugged or I hit something during a save file. I don't know. Maybe I didn't even tell you about that. I can't remember. We were playing Simulacra, and we had come to a point where we were just stuck. Obviously, I was streaming it, and we're clicking on all the things because I don't know if you're not familiar with Simulacra, it's like a Lost Phone type game, but this is the 4th in its series. So it's always like you're on whoever's phone. So it's set up perfectly for mobile, which it is on mobile, but on PC, it's going to look the same way. And so as you're clicking through this person's phone, they have a Chimera account, which is Instagram, or a Jabber account, which is Twitter, and their own email and all this kind of stuff. And there was some sort of information we were supposed to be finding to be able to proceed with a conversation. And no matter what we were clicking on, we couldn't find it. Because you were in this one, you're working with the police as a journalist to try to solve this woman's murder. That's whose phone that you have, or how she died of mysterious circumstances. So when you click on something, if it has a clue in it, a little icon will pop up in the bottom right to scan that page. So it goes into your database for you to be able to reconstruct and use later. And nothing was popping up to scan. It was really annoying me. And we even went to look for a walkthrough. And in the walkthrough, it triggered doing the same things we were doing, but I had chosen different dialogue. So since there's different endings, I'm thinking just the dialogue that I had chosen lent itself to finding that information a different way, and we just couldn't figure it out. So we had to just like put it to bed that day because I was so over it. But we got past it and we've beaten it and saw 2 of the endings. I never get the good ending on a first run. I don't know what it is that I do, but it's never good. Never. So sorry to all of those involved in the game. I got pretty much everyone killed. But it was fun nonetheless. And so that just means there's more for me to go play, you know. And then for some reason started playing Cook Serve Delicious 2 again out of nowhere, which just like kind of a typing restaurant game where you could make everything with just like keyboards. Probably really good for like schools and junk to learn how to type, but I don't know why I got on that shit again. And then of course I started Evergate yesterday, and it's
nice.
I think I got through 2 levels. It's gorgeous. It's gorgeous. People were totally complimenting the score a ton too, the music and all of that kind of stuff. And it's interesting the stuff that they've implemented since I've played last, because I haven't really touched it outside of the few demos and things like that. And yeah, there's like a level up kind of system now too, where you can get power ups for certain levels after you collect a certain amount of. There's a bunch of different stuff to collect now, or shoot, or platforms, or whatever. And it's really cool to see how it's kind of just turned into this game since we've seen it last 2 years ago. And they've done a nice job on it so far. I'm really happy. I haven't gotten too terribly far with it. And obviously I'm not like speed running it, so I haven't mastered any particular level or anything yet, but figuring it out enough to actually just get through it and collect the gems and stuff has been good enough. And they actually have a counter on the side too for like a speed run. Like if you wanted to do it within, I guess, what they have decided would be one of the fastest times, and then you could beat it, because this game would lend itself to that sort of thing quite easily, and we've already seen it to be the truth. So, yeah. So, and that's it. So GG Evergate. So far, I'm very happy. I know it's still early access, and you peasants can't get a hold of it until the 15th. I like to pretend I'm special or something like that, but. Anyway, yeah, I'm enjoying it. It's gorgeous. It's exactly what I wanted it to be and more. So good job. I'm having fun with it. What have you been playing?
Well, I need to get around to Evergate, that's for sure.
Yeah.
I haven't had the time or the effort. And then when I do have the time, Monster Hunter still. And I've made some progress in the main monster in this one, or I guess what is supposedly, because if you remember in the marketing for Monster Hunter World, there was the Nergigante, the big spiky horned, monster that was like the face of the game. So it was like, oh, that's your big monster. But then if you play the game, you realize there's a much bigger monster, a much bigger threat that's going to be. So I'm assuming this is going to lend itself in the same way, because there's the Velkhana, which is this big ice elder dragon. So it's terrorizing everybody. It seems to be the threat. We did this big fight, which was really interesting, because from what I remember, this was really the first time in the game where everybody helped you. You see all these other hunters and all these other people who are like, yeah, we've got to do something. It's like, what is this we shit? It's me. I'm the
Kinda
one
like a
doing
world
everything.
boss,
You guys
huh?
just sit back. Yeah. But in this one, the Velkhana actually came to attack the area in which we were sitting, or we were kind of camped out in. So everybody shooting cannons, throwing stuff. So it's like one big fight. And then, of course, obviously, you have to do the bulk of the work. But it felt good knowing that everybody else was helping, too.
Yeah.
So I did that, repelled it off, and then you actually have to go find it alone and hunt it.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then, of course, that was a fun fight. If you want to consider fun to be just frustrating, but I got it. I did it.
Nice.
We got it taken care of, and so now all of a sudden, well, there's this other thing happening now, so we're gonna go investigate all this other stuff going on. So I've come into contact. I haven't gone past this, but your next thing was to do an expedition to kind of search around for all the new things, and then I'm seeing tougher versions of the other monsters, like the Nergigante. Yeah. So I found like some of his spikes, and I'm like, okay, this is fantastic. I definitely wanted to fight a tougher version of that thing. Yeah. So woo. So. Yeah, so I'm still trying to power through that, but I'm still having fun. I actually looked at my play hours for this game. I think this is the one game I've played the most in my lifetime. I could be wrong. Because I've never actually seen time played on every single game that I've played, but this keeps track of it, and I'm well over 300 hours and did not realize.
It goes fast, man.
It does. So
yeah.
I was like, wow, okay.
So I almost want to play in offline mode these days, just so I'm not faced with how many hours I'm actually putting into some of these games.
Yeah, it was jarring when I looked at it. I was like, holy shit. Because I'm pretty sure I remember when I picked it back up, it was well over 100. And I was
wow. Yeah.
That sounds about right. Mm-hmm. And then now I'm looking at it, it's 3, and I'm like, Jesus. So,
it's a full-time job.
I'm having fun. Yep. So, I mean, I guess that's what matters. I'm having fun with it.
Exactly. All right. Well, let's catch up on some news for the week then, shall we?
All righty.
We have a bit of news. Of course, the biggest bit of news that's happened this week, which most of us are probably aware of, is Dan Hauser, the co-founder of Rockstar Games, is stepping down as co-founder of Rockstar, which was quite a shock, I think, to most people, especially since he did it very quietly, it would appear, just kind of on the end of a report for the year or something, and then at the bottom it just kind of said, and Dan Hauser's last day will be in March. So if you're not familiar, Dan Hauser, along with his brother Sam, founded Rockstar back in 1998. Both were executives at BMG, which was acquired by Take-Two in December of 98. So they're the ones essentially that started Rockstar Games. And he has announced that his last day will be with the company on March 11th, 2020. And it appears that Dan actually had been on a break since about 2019, around the time of Red Dead Redemption 2. So I'm not sure how involved he's been during the course of time from its release to now. But as VP and creative at Rockstar, his contributions to the company, I mean, he was like one of the lead writers for a lot of the games too, as I was looking through it. So he did a lot of the Red Dead Redemption 2, the GTA games 2 through 5 is one of the main writers on there, Bully. So yeah, it'll be just kind of interesting to see what's going to happen here. That's about all the news that we've got. We don't know why, unless he might just be retiring. He's done his thing. His brother Sam, though, is continuing on with the company, so it won't be this complete restructuring of however they're going to do it from the top back down. But yeah, so that's all I could really find right now. It doesn't sound like there's any bad blood or anything like that. We don't know why, but March 11th, 2020, he'll officially be stepping down as one of the CEOs over at Rockstar.
I mean, it's kind of what you were just saying. You know, you look at all the work he's kind of put in. Maybe it's too much. You know, he needs a break. And
I'm wondering.
I wouldn't fault him for it. Yeah. Because I didn't realize he had written a lot of that stuff, but now that I'm
realize
thinking about
either until I started looking into this story, just like how much co-writing or head writing he actually had done for a lot of the games over the last several years.
Yeah, I mean, the more I think on it, like credits and things like that, I remember seeing his name on a lot of those games, and wow, yeah. I mean, he did an admirable job. I mean, a lot of those games have a great narrative to them. I can't sit there and say that any of those games have a bad narrative per se.
Yeah.
I mean, they're all fun for that reason, you know.
And very adept, especially if you're looking at like GTA 5 and Red Dead and the large, vast world. And oh my God, all of like the side quests and stuff that you find, especially in Red Dead, just because I've played that the most recent. So that's in my head. But wow, like it's a lot of content in there.
Sure.
But
so,
it sounds like a lot of the passionate people will
take...
still be there. So I don't think we should fear that. I mean, I'm not worried.
No.
Anything's going to happen with Rockstar.
Dude needs a break. So I can relate.
Hopefully that's all it is, you know.
Yeah.
But an official statement from Rockstar is that they are extremely grateful for his contributions, and they've built some the most critically acclaimed and commercially successful game worlds, a global community of passionate fans, and an incredibly talented team, which remains focused on current and future projects. So at this time, I don't think there's any reason to freak out. Sounds like maybe he just, needs to step away for a bit. We don't know what he's going to do in the future.
No.
But let's see. The second bit of news. Maybe we have a competitor to Stadia now.
What?
All right. So it seems like quite a few companies have been trying to crack the streaming your games video trope, or your video games trope. And Google, Sony, and Microsoft already offer something similar. But now Nvidia is ready to showcase its service to the world. This has been in beta, apparently. I know. As soon as I started reading this, I was like, ugh, here we go again. It's still in beta, and it has been apparently for a few years now, and I even had one false start a while ago, which just sprinkled in for good measure, I guess. But NVIDIA has a slightly different approach. For $5 a month, NVIDIA says you can take your existing library with you, and it supports Steam, Epic Games Store, Battle.net, and Uplay, and each one is run through a cloud, as you would imagine, since we're trying to stream it. So Stadia, without having to only play games that are offered on its service, right now it looks to be compatible with Windows, MacBook, and some TV support, some Android phones. Right now it doesn't look like there's any word on when if iPhone or iPad will be supported, but Chromebooks are in the works and hopefully available by the end of Q1.
Woo. All right, look, so NVIDIA. Who talks about NVIDIA? Okay, I know what it is, but when you have brands like Sony, Microsoft, Google, they are brands that encompass so much. And then you have NVIDIA. Who is going to say, that NVIDIA streaming, man, I'm going to get that.
Well, that's why they're advertising it.
Nobody.
Well, PC gamers know NVIDIA
Nobody.
pretty good because a lot of us probably have their graphics cards in our system of some sort, depending on what brand that you buy. But yeah, I don't know that I would have thought, hey, the guy who makes my graphics card is also wanting to make a streaming service for me. But nonetheless, we do have it.
That's all I'm going to say, brand.
There is some caveats, though. Well, brand, I think it would work, though. Yeah. I think most gamers are familiar with the NVIDIA brand, at least, which is the people you would be marketing towards anyway. Because even if you're a console gamer, you're aware of like PC gaming and probably have heard of NVIDIA and probably has powered something. Who knows? They're probably going to be putting your consoles here very soon too. I mean, AMD's making all the chips and stuff for them and all this kind of stuff. So maybe that's their in. Get their video card. Perhaps. The service comes installed. Like how Windows always shoves solitaire at you.
But they would really have to market toward their target market, which would be PC gamers. You can't.
Yeah.
I don't see a casual gamer who has a Xbox or a PlayStation who knows nothing about PCs. I mean, granted, I'm not specifically a PC gamer, but this is our world. You know, this is what we talk about, so I'm aware of it.
Yeah.
But I really feel like it would be a niche marketing target audience, so to speak. That's just my opinion. I could be absolutely wrong. They could blow it out of the water, but I just don't doubt.
This
I just don't
depends on the cloud and the internet, and I think that's still always going to be the hang up until the infrastructure globally is raised to go along with all of this new technology that these companies are wanting to push out, because it all sounds fantastic in theory, but when there's like this large portion of the world that can't get faster than even 16 megabit per second internet, that's still going to be the one thing I harp on this whole time when we keep coming up with streaming things, is you've got to figure out how to crack that egg.
Sure.
And you can't do anything about it. But there is some caveats with this. Again, like we just talked about, you got to have good internet, and also live within a certain radius of where the Nvidia servers are. So right now, Nvidia has 9 servers in North America and 6 in Europe, and can reach about 80% of broadband homes. It's also claiming, with these parameters met, that it can send it within 20 milliseconds and achieving 10 milliseconds round trip latency with certain partners globally. But either way, it seems you will need at least 15 megabit per second connection, like we were just stating, or better. And if you want 1080p, more like 30 megabits per second, and 50 is what Nvidia recommends for overall experience, which I know I get that those speeds are better, but do you? Most people I know don't. It's a tall ask. There's no 4K options as of yet. All in all, it seems like the games would be downloaded, or whether or not you get first-party games somewhere down the line is not something that we've been able to find out. So it seems like you just can take your library with you. So if you pay $5 a month for the Founders Plan, you can get priority access and can play for 6 hours at a time. This I found interesting here. So it was talking about an hour of playtime for free, and then you got sat on a wait list. I'm wondering if this has to do with the fact of being within a radius of that as well, because like maybe servers just can't handle that for that long period of time with as many people. So apparently, as you're playing, Nvidia will alert you when your time is coming up, so you can kind of get your gaming affairs in order, save your game, do whatever you got to do, because it's about to get shut down on you. And I should also mention $5 asking price isn't the final price. It's more geared towards founders. So if this is something that you've been involved in already, it sounds like that's something that is a thank you to you for helping them accomplish this task. The final price, once fully launched, yet to be determined. It was reported that the capacity of GeForce Now, which I think I didn't even mention is the name of their service, GeForce Now, it should be able to handle 600,000 players, but doesn't want to bog it down. So it's cutting off access at $60 for a year plus 3 months once it hits a certain capacity of players. So it sounds like they want to try to keep it competitive, but enough so that not so many people swarm in on the opportunity at once, so it doesn't poop the bed.
Like Google.
But, yeah, like Google. But you can sign up now and try for the free tier for an hour and see what you think. GeForce Now.
I mean, that's the least they could do. GeForce Now does kind of have a nice ring to it.
Because the Nvidia GeForce is kind of their thing, yeah.
So
we'll see.
Okay. But
I'm
still,
sure
I
we'll
feel
be
this is
in a
a
year. It's gone.
Yeah, I'm sure this definitely seems like a PC market thing. Just saying.
I still think with the way everything's going, we're going to see a lot more crossover with that in the coming years anyway, because I'm telling you, these new consoles are just little PCs.
Well, it's very much like the streaming market for videos like Netflix, Disney Plus, Hulu, and all that stuff. I would assume at some point, because obviously this year, come springtime, we're going to get HBO Max. We're going to have all these platforms coming out, but sooner or later, we're going to watch them collapse in on themselves, and we're going to see them kind of merge. Something to, like, I've got this gut feeling that Disney and Hulu, like Disney Plus and Hulu, at some point, they're going to merge. Now, granted, I know that they want to keep their, like, anything R-rated outside of Disney Plus. And that's fair. That way you have family friendly, and then you have Hulu. But at some point, I can see them merging into one app So you have your Hulu side, and then you have your family-friendly Disney Plus side, and then they will all be considered one thing. And
Disney owns
with
Hulu,
HBO
right?
doing they own a majority share. They don't own everything, but I think it's like 60%. And at some point, they will own it all. I think like it's a few years down the line, whoever the other shareholders are, they're going to be like, all right, now we're taking those. Like, that's part of the deal. So they're going to lose their shares at some point. So they're going to own them. Yeah. But HBO Max, I mean, once you have that in place, HBO Now, HBO Go, all that stuff, it's going to be, there's no point in it.
No point.
There's no point in having it because, because you're offering not only HBO content on this app, but now you're offering even more. So it's HBO and more. Mm-hmm. So why bother having HBO Now, HBO Go? I'll just go get HBO Max because that's where I can get everything.
It's true. One shop for the whole thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it makes no sense. So I mean, I literally pay for HBO through Hulu, but the idea of HBO Max makes more sense. I'm getting all that content and more. So why am I going to pay the same amount for that when I can just go over here and get that? See?
And I'm sure that's what they're wanting you to do because I'm sure they want to be able to shut down the other services and just be able to focus on the one. So if they keep the price point the same, why wouldn't you just go over to the new thing, discard the other ones, and then slowly start to up the price on you?
And to even argue in favor of the Hulu Disney Plus merger, one of the greatest things about having HBO on Hulu is because it's there. I'm not paying for HBO Go or whatever the other service is, so that's a separate app and I have to go there. Yeah. I'm already on Hulu, so they're showing me Hulu stuff and the HBO stuff that I have too, so it's all there.
Yeah.
So
I
don't
subscribe
have
to Showtime through Hulu, so it's the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's already accessible. So to me, as a consumer, I like that. I don't have to.
Well, you can favorite all your shows in one spot.
Exactly. I don't have to go to another app, and when people talk about that frustration, it's real because you don't want to have to. All right, well, there's nothing on Hulu. Let's go to Netflix. Well, there's nothing on Netflix. Let's go to Amazon Prime. So you're bouncing from app to app trying to find something, but when it's all condensed, it's just there. Yeah, and it's nice. And it's one of the
overall,
things I do
is it a
like.
big deal? No,
it's a first world problem, but
it's habits.
The convenience, yeah. And that's I guess where I'm looking at this. It's yet another streaming platform, and what would it take for this to become one with another streaming platform? That way, it just kind of collapses in. I don't know who else. Granted, I say this is a PC market type of idea, but is there another streaming platform for PC right now outside of Google Stadia?
Right. Probably. I don't know, but I don't seek out those because to me, I'd still rather just have the game on the PC. I haven't had a need yet where I needed to take it on the go or anything. So I wasn't the market for it.
Yeah, no, and I'm not either, but
who knows what they've got planned where it seems like everyone's trying to push us this direction, if in fact that's just going to be how the future of it all holds, which I wouldn't appreciate because I still want to just own my games. I don't know.
I'm with you.
Renting is fine maybe once in a while or whatever, but if I'm spending that kind of money, I want to own the game outright regardless of whether the platform goes down or not. Like I could still download it at least and have it on my PC.
And I think that's definitely a concern when it comes to digital downloads. Like everything that I've purchased on PlayStation, no matter what, I should be able to access those at any point in time. Mm-hmm. If they went belly up tomorrow, I bought those games. You should give me access to those games that I purchased, not the plus games or something part of that service. I understand that. That's more like a rental agreement long term. Mm-hmm. But anything that I placed solid money down for to purchase, that should be my game forever.
I agree.
Period. Okay.
100%.
Moving on. Sorry. We got off on a tangent.
That's what we do best. But that's it for the news that I had this week. But I do have quite a few quick hits because there was a lot going on, but nothing that really felt like to go into great detail. One of the ones that I found quite interesting is Kentucky bans Fortnite from being an esport in schools. Good old Kentucky. So we're aware that some high schools and even colleges have esports tournaments on campuses, but Kentucky decided to outright ban it. The High School Athletics Association placed a ban on Fortnite for being an esport in high school and colleges after a partnership between Epic and PlayVS, which is a school organization for that, because of its portrayals of guns and your ability to shoot each other, even if it comes with an ESRB rating of 12 and it's silly and cartoony and less realistic. They decided no. And this is, of course, about a month and a half after, we've already been blamed for the violence in the world now.
So you said Kentucky.
Mm-hmm.
Kentucky.
The state. Mm-hmm.
Banning something involving guns. Kentucky.
Yeah.
Did anyone see the irony here?
Well, I mean, it's the games that are teaching them, you realize. So if we eliminate the games...
Yes.
Then they'll never learn how to be violent, and ergo, they'll be pillars of society going forward.
Right.
Well, to be fair, though, it is just like as an esport. So,
I will say, I will say, in all fairness, I would agree with the high school portion. College, not so much.
Right.
Because that's not the same. College and high school, that's completely different. So college, I don't agree with. High school, yeah, they need to focus on their schoolwork. It's just my opinion.
I actually didn't really know esports was a high school thing until I was reading through this. I thought it was just still only at the college level where we started to see scholarships and things like that going out for teams.
I mean, if they're going to do esports in high school, make it educational games. Make them play Oregon Trail. Mm-hmm. Make them play Number Munchers, man. Make them learn.
Or even the one I just talked about, Cook Serve Delicious. I actually had read the developer posted a nice heartwarming note from a teacher who said, because the way the game is kind of set up is like you'll get the orders, but there's a letter attached to it. Mm-hmm. So you can use your mouse if you want to, but the real point is to be able to look at the orders and type as fast as you can to get it correct. And he was telling a story of a teacher who was so heartwarmed that this kid didn't think he could do this one level. It had too many ingredients. It was too much typing. And the fact that he just stood up and went, "Oh my God, I can't believe I just did it." Like on something like that. It's teaching them right away, like reinforcing if they did a good choice or not. So, yeah.
Good.
There's a lot of learning tools in video games too.
But we only focus on the violent ones.
Mm-hmm. So if you were looking forward to that scholarship, Kentucky, sorry about it, unless something changes between now and then.
You'll be all right.
You can still play at home.
Yeah.
PlayStation 5 finally has an official splash page for it. You can go to PlayStation.com and met with the PS5 is coming soon, launched holiday 2020. And right now, that's about all that's on the page since they still have yet to unveil any more goodies for us about the actual console coming. So
we'll see it in the summertime.
Go stare at the splash screen. Put in your email if you want updates, I guess. Let's see. Now this I just thought was cool.
Okay.
There is a fan created The Last of Us 2 as if it were on the PlayStation 1.
I saw something about this, but I didn't see it.
I watched it last night. It was kind of neat. This is now, I'll give credit to where credit is due. The YouTube channel Barely Like a Bear, Barely Regal, posted a video game demake, as they call it, created with Dreams, early access. God, I can't wait for this game. The stuff people are coming up with, I swear to God. So his video is only about 6.5 minutes long, but it's only gameplay. So it was really cool to see. Like they did like the first 6 or so minutes of the game with the zombies coming around, with the faceless zombies, the score, the whole thing. It was actually pretty neat. And so I thumbed through their YouTube and saw that they also did a Cyberpunk 1997. But it was just like a trailer, or like not a trailer, but a walkthrough of what your apartment would have looked like. So I guess we've seen that in 2077. So he demade it, or she, I guess I don't really know who owns the channel. And they also did a Death Stranding trailer for PS1.
Nice.
And then a little bit of gameplay for that too. Oh man, I just now I'm starting to wonder how many abandoned games we're going to start seeing get recreated and resurfaced with Dreams, dude, because this is starting to get exciting.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the things people can do, it's mind-boggling to me, because when I think about all the things I would love to do,
right?
But then but again, I don't know how it works. I have not got to try it out.
I haven't either.
There are a lot of, but it sounds easy.
They make it seem easy, right? Which is a testament to them, I hope, and how talented they are. But
right, and I know game development is not easy, so I don't want to make it sound like, oh, you know how to do. I don't know jack shit about it. I don't. Right. Okay,
I just like the end result.
Yeah, I would really hope that anybody who had a great imagination could have this moment, take it, and just oh god, just that's all I'm saying.
I'm excited.
I can't even.
I'm very excited. I'm like, I don't think I would create with it, but I almost want to buy it just so I can play all the stuff everybody else does. Just I'll put that out there. Like, I just want to play all the stuff you guys are creating. So keep it coming. It's been fun.
I mean, you think about it, that you have that market. It's one or the other. You can be the person who wants to create, or you can be the person who wants to consume. It works both ways.
We need
phenomenal.
each other. Yeah, let's do it. Let's coexist. Let's make this happen, man. I'm excited. I can't wait to see. Let's see. X. Okay, so this is also really cool and kind of heartwarming in the whole thing. So there is an Xbox adapter that lets people turn their powered wheelchairs into game controllers. I thought this was really cool. So this is coming out of like Able Gamers. If you are not familiar with them, that is a charity that does help make video gaming more accessible to those with disabilities. They created this device. It's called the Freedom Wing Adapter, and this box connects to a powered wheelchair through its 9-pin port. It uses your joystick that controls the wheelchair and now can also double as the video game controller. Nice. It seems that this should work with any powered wheelchair device on the market currently. And it was just really cool to watch, because if you've learned how to operate your wheelchair, now you can video game. It was a pretty decent sized looking box that got put in there. But yeah, they had about 4 minutes of some people actually using it and watching them play the video game. And it's just really, really, really awesome that there are people coming up with these things to help make game more accessible to those who all want to play, you know?
Sure.
The company's also partnered with organizations like Department of Veteran Affairs to provide them with units also. And some people have already hacked the device to get it to work with Nintendo Switches. So I think it was mostly like Xboxes and then Nintendo Switches. And it currently right now retails for $99. I just thought it was really, really, really cool little thing.
For sure.
Gaming for everybody. Let's just keep it going. I'm excited about it. It was just really cool. You should look it up. It was a really fun little story to watch, and just like to see how excited faces of these people who've been wanting to play for so long and then just now have the ability to. It's fantastic. And I just want to shout out to Wales Interactive. I love you, because I saw the trailer of The Complex, which is a new interactive movie that they'll be coming out with, and I'm excited, and I just wanted to say that. So thank you. I love you.
And they are pretty cool.
They're killing it, man.
Yeah.
They're killing it, man. I'm telling you. Like this publisher, man, they find some amazing developers. I tell you what. You probably already know this. Resident Evil 2 and Monster Hunter World crossover event is coming to PC. So all of you that have already had it. Yeah. So Iceborne arrived on PC last month, which means it's a little behind the consoles, of course. Your handler can now appear as Mr. X. It's a reskin, though. I'm told the animations stay the same. And you'll be able to wear the Leon and Claire armor sets and do quests that turn you into a zombie. along with a bunch of decorations and gestures that you can use with the event.
Since you're bringing that up, I've got to mention this. They have an event going on right now, which is like, I can't remember what they're calling it, the gratitude event or whatever the hell. And all the handlers and the people, the background characters, they're wearing alien-esque outfits. Like they've got little antennae, their hair's blue, and even the handler, she has a book and it's more like a tablet now, so it's all digital and weird. And they change this, like when they do this stuff, they automatically change your handler's outfit. So when I went into cutscenes with very serious moments and she's wearing that outfit, I can't take her serious. I was like, I've got to change you back because you're ruining this mood. Yeah, it didn't work. So I went back and changed her outfit because I was like, you're killing the mood right now.
It's like when your custom character in a cutscene happens and you're like, this just doesn't fit anymore, but it
doesn't work anymore.
But the last quicket that I have is that Ubisoft is saying that it will release 5 AAA games by 2021.
I saw that.
And we already know about 3 of them. We know about Watchdog Legions, Gods and Monsters, and Rainbow Six Siege Quarantine. But there's 2 now that we just haven't heard anything about. More info apparently might be dropping in May when the next financial announcement for investors takes place, because apparently this is how we got leak about these other 2 games, is somebody from a phone call. And I'm not going to be able to say this guy's name right, Guillemot, the CEO of Ubisoft, Guillemot. I don't know, French guy. Seems lovely. I just can't say his name. Nothing bad about him. But he said that E3 is actually where it stands a good chance to debut the lineup. I mentioned concerning the next generations of consoles, which will be a great catalyst for the industry momentum in 2020. So I hope it's new IPs. But
I would go ahead and put money down Assassin's Creed. Whatever new
that's one of the
that's got to be
rumors.
one of them. Yeah,
apparently
it has
from
to be.
somebody who, like, I guess is good on verifying this stuff, was like, sorry guys, Assassin's Creed and another Far Cry.
Oh, yeah, okay, I can believe that too.
So I kind of hope that's not the case, because I don't know, I want to see some new stuff. And maybe it's just because I never got into those 2 games where I'm just like, come on, Ubisoft, there's got to be something you'll create that I want. I just don't gravitate towards their games.
Yeah, new things would be good, but they're creatures of habit. They like pumping out what works, and those games have worked. So
you're not wrong. But I just feel like the Far Cry ones, I haven't seen like anything that different other than, I guess, the graphics getting updated. But to be fair, I've never really played through any of them, but all the trailers and stuff that I see, kind of like Assassin's Creed, I don't really see a whole lot changing except for maybe setting from one to the next.
Yeah, I mean, they're fun.
But
I didn't think I'd get into it, but I think the first one I tried was 3, and I think maybe it was free. And I thought, because I don't like first person shooters, turn me off. Like, don't get me wrong, I will play them. But when I see that, immediately I'm just kind of like, But I will play them.
I don't mind if it's an element. If it's the main mechanic is when I get bored, but if shooting is a mechanic, just an element of it, then fine. Like Red Dead wasn't always having to shoot. You had a lot of other stuff to do.
Sure. And I think what I liked most about Far Cry versus something like Doom, I mean, Doom was just balls to the wall, crazy, shoot, boom, boom, boom. That was its purpose. With Far Cry, I always found myself being a little bit more stealthy and close combat. So, I'd crawl up to a facility or whatever that somebody had taken over, and I'd be like, stabby, stabby, choke, choke. I sound like a serial killer right now, but I mean, I didn't go in guns a-blazing. It was always like, I'm going to take you all down slowly. Shh. And I like that.
Approach it stealthy, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have patience for stealth that long. I always start off like that meme, where you start off all nice and quiet, and by the end of it, you're just running in like guns blazing, like, all right, I'm ready to be finished with this level. I'm just going to shoot you all now. That's 100% me.
Right. I like stealth when I'm not going to be punished for not doing stealth. If I can be stealthy, I love being stealthy. But if it doesn't work out, okay, I still have an option to, get myself out of the situation. When they're just like, you got to be stealthy. You have to. And it's like, well, you're not making it easy here, damn it. So that's when I get frustrated.
And then you accidentally knock over a pot from a table.
Yeah. That's the kind of stealth I hate. I like it when I can do it on my terms. When I can be stealthy on my own and I can do it my way, fine. But yeah, that you failed because you weren't stealthy. Well, up yours, man.
You try walking through here with nobody noticing you. Jesus. All right. Ready for some truth or trash?
Shoot.
I have one.
Okay.
So, can't really find a lot of rumors anymore. People keep it tight-lipped, or I just keep letting them off in crickets. I should just stop doing that. But, so with speculations that have been running around about the new Batman series from the WB Games division,
True.
I have it on good authority that the next series of Arkham games will be a continuation of the series, but featuring Bruce Wayne's son and not Bruce Wayne as the protagonist.
Ooh. Now, this intrigues me only if we're talking about not making him Batman. If we're going to be focused on Damian as Robin, then I'm in.
Okay.
But if he's going to be Batman, then it's not going to be unique.
It's just
because
Batman
Damian
with
is
a different name.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, well, I'm Damian Wayne and I grew up and now I'm Batman. No. Dude, you're owning the Robin right now. That's what I love about that character. He owns that. Like, I'm gonna nerd out for a moment and I'm gonna just indulge me for a moment. When you think of Robin, what's the first thing that pops into your mind?
Sidekick.
But what kind of person do you consider Robin?
Oh, like as far as physical attributes or
just personality? Like when you think Robin,
I see it more as like, I guess the witty jokester sidekick, but also comes through in a pinch, like we need him still because his sets of skills complement the other one. And then of course the red and green and tights and the yellow belt and
Sure.
That all comes to mind too. The old school look of Robin, I guess.
Okay.
I pretend Chris O'Donnell's version didn't happen.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that do that. So the beauty of Damian is he is almost like the anti-Robin that everybody knows. Okay? Because throughout the year, I mean, there have been so many people who've taken on the mantle of Robin. You had Tim or Dick Grayson is the guy that you're thinking of. He's the original Robin. He's the fun. I'm holy whatever from the Burt Ward and Adam West.
Bazinga! Wow.
Yeah, so that's what people think. That's the Robin that's ingrained in their head because that's the guy. And then they tried an edgier version with Jason Todd, who was the second Robin, and then Joker beat the living piss out of him, which was fan demanded, by the way. Keep that in mind because no one liked him. Yeah, no one liked him. It was like, screw this arrogant little prick. Then we got a third Robin out of Tim Drake, and he was a good, he brought back some of that fun-loving, I'm Robin, a little edgier, for the 90s and whatnot, but he was still kind of a fun-loving character. So he was like the Robin that you want Robin to be, like the epitome of it, so to speak. Then we get Damian. Damian is legitimately Bruce Wayne's son. So now he's fitting that role of being what everyone considers Robin to be. It's like it's supposed to be like his kid. So now this is his kid. But this kid was trained by assassins from his childhood. Oh. He is deadly. He is arrogant, but he's not Jason Todd arrogant, which is really weird. He's just like sure that he can do it, and he can. Yeah. That's the beauty of this Robin. Is like, I will mess you up. And they're just like, but you're a kid. He's like, yeah, but I was a kid trained by assassins. I will mess you up. And he will.
My childhood was better than yours. All right?
Yeah. So when you think of Damian in this situation, absolutely. I'm not going to sit there and think there's no way Robin could do. No,
that actually sounds fun.
Yeah, this kid will mess them up, and he won't have any qualms about taking a life about it because it's like, this is what I do.
Oh, he got rid of the guilt, eh?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And Bruce has tried to rein him back in. He's like, dude, you've got to be.
I raised you. No.
Yeah. He's like, no. You don't seem to understand. This is who I am. You're gonna have to get over it. So it's an interesting dichotomy because he's not the Robin everybody knows. So
right. Yeah, I wouldn't have known that.
I'm going to say I want it to be true, so true.
So true? Okay, I got to keep track.
Give it a true in hopes of it being true. Because that would change the game in a way. You could still use similar aesthetics and similar, play styles, but you can also change it up to be more suited to Robin. And since he's a smaller version of Batman, so to speak, since he's a kid, that shifts the dynamic completely because he can be faster, he can be more agile, he can do things that Batman can't do. So I want it to be true.
Well, I hope it is for you. I can't reveal anything.
Okay.
No weird news. All y'all were too frickin'
okay.
normal this week, so
Boo.
nothing fun. Or I'd buy that for $1. I was having a rough time of it, man.
Sometimes you just can't find anything. So, I mean, I'm not going to fault you
Nothing
for
that
it.
I felt like was even worth bringing up. You know what I mean? I'm like, that's not interesting or cool or whatever.
I mean,
but I'm holding out hope that this week's really weird.
Okay, good. I mean, when you see stuff that's just like, hey, it's a mug and it's got Mario on it. It's like, yeah, but you want
Everyone
if you
drinks
want to
from their
find
Nintendo
something
trope, okay?
Yeah, we want interesting stuff to buy, like really out there kind of stuff. So that's the beauty of that segment, is finding really, really oddball stuff to really make you think, do I really want that?
Yeah.
Do I really want it?
Do I?
It's like I might have a
this
cup,
week.
but do I have a cup that lights up and does things and just, I don't.
Speaks to Siri and backs my car up. I mean, really, let's put it in the right slot. But it is time for Name That Game!
Woo! Okay.
All right. This first game, if you are ready.
Okay.
This is a short, kinetic novel about a simple guy named Andrew who knew no troubles until he found a strange box under his door. This event will change his life forever. You will go on a strange, miserable journey with Andrew to uncover the secret of Dung Box. It's a real trash with black humor and a badass story. This game will end sooner than you'll get bored. Very dirty jokes with an eccentric visual style and unforgettable voiceovers, memes, Easter eggs, and a crazy ending. Easy achievements for everyone, if you're willing to reach the end of this story. Is this game A, Dung Box Secrets, B, Andrew's Garbage, C, Trash Story, D, The Journey of File 13? The Dung Box.
Now that last one, yeah. I mean, that last one is way out there in left field, which could lend itself to be that. But then the Dung Box thing just sounds so on the nose.
It's hard to
How
not
about-
get away. Like, when
Yeah,
you're talking,
it's-
I'm like trying to keep neutral. Like, yeah, no, that's good.
D.
D.
I'm gonna go D.
The Journey of File 13.
Yeah.
The answer is C, Trash Story.
Trash Story. That is so trashy. That's garbage for
Yes. I was waiting for
All
the
right.
dumpster fire to end.
yeah. The
Do you
one
ever
that
watch the trailers To the ones
I ever
that you
watch
did?
what?
Did you watch like a lot of the trailers for the Name That games that you did?
Sometimes. If it really, really caught my eye to like, this sounds so bizarre, I've got to see this, I would, but not all the time.
I've now become quite addicted to watching the trailers to see how much it lines up with what they say the game is about. And I can see the connection sometimes.
Yeah, there are times that I would see a name of a game and it'd be like, I wonder what this is. And I would look it up and then I would be greeted to boobs. And I was like, oh, this is not what I expected.
There's a lot of hentai games. There's like a lot.
And they don't. There are some that keep it hidden and others that do not. So I was like, all right, well, boobs.
You could pretty much go to Steam and hit lowest price and be met with about 49 cent hentai games right now. And there's more coming
Good
soon.
old Steam.
All right, your next game. A weird thing happened. And I mean really weird. This is the first game ever developed and published by Comtrast. It takes inspiration. I've never heard of them before either.
Okay.
But apparently that's really weird that they've never done this before. And it takes inspiration from old DOS games, arts, and adds a modem gameplay feel to offer a very unique experience. In this game, you have to overcome a series of levels that gets progressively harder in order to find basically what's going on. At least that's what's supposed to be written here, right? Mm-hmm. After all, this is a hardcore puzzle platformer where you have to overcome a series of challenging levels in order to find the answers that you are looking for. That's what I was supposed to say, right? Is this game?
Okay.
I'm
so confused.
What the game is. I had to read it about 4 times. Still not sure, even now that I've just said it, that I know what's going on. But is this game B C sigh or D shh? I'm sorry, I had to do it.
Okay.
Really, it could be
all right.
anything at this point.
I'm gonna go with A Z.
A Z. And the answer is A.
Woo!
I'm wondering if it was supposed to be like for sleeping, like Z Z Z Z.
Or it could be like that other game.
That one too. I'm sure that game exists, actually.
It does.
It looked like they were just kind of like hand drawing with word paint, and then like a word would pop up or something for their novel.
Okay. Sure.
I didn't bother finishing that whole trailer. I went, oh, I get it. Okay, that's a good idea.
I get
Cool.
it. It's fine. It's fine.
So I have one more game. I actually did 3. I'm going to try to keep it nice and even for you.
All right.
So you have a chance to win or lose, you know. So we're 1-1. Mm-hmm. You are in a jungle. Your way is locked. You started searching the key. You finally find the key, but can't return to the locked area since you forgot the way since you got the key. Yes, this is because you are in a maze. In this game, you will be playing as Happy Singh, a cute Punjabi guy who loves to run and jump. His truck is broken in the middle of the jungle. A jungle where angry monkeys are waiting to beat you up and deadly cacti that can send you spinning. The game will appeal to those gamers whose desire to play something like Mario on PC. Each level of Super Happy Sing is a 3D maze with locked areas. You win the game when you find each level with Super Happy Sing. Jesus Christ. In this 3D maze with locked areas, you will win the game when you finally unlock the gold lock. But the keys are hidden deep inside the jungle, protected by monkeys. Run as fast as you can, jump over obstacles, and find the keys and beat the game.
All right, then.
I feel like it all just happens in a maze, in a circle. All right. So is this game A, Super Punjabi Sings, B, Super Jungle Monkey, C,
Oh my
Super
God.
Happy Sings, or D, George of the Jungle Maze? Just thought I'd throw in a freebie for you. There were bananas.
You know, I don't want it to be B, but I've got this feeling it's B because that sounds
Super
horrible.
Jungle Monkey. Doesn't it?
Yeah, because that sounds terrible.
I left out a lot of stuff in the description because of like how bad actually it started to get. So B is your guess, and the answer is C. Super Happy saying I'm the terrible one.
Okay. Well,
if you would have read the rest of it, I would have been like,
I mean, I'm surprised it's not if you had to omit things because, oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually wanted to try to find a way to make a play on Donkey Kong with the monkey, and I just couldn't figure out a clever, cute way to do it without it just like, because when you were watching it, I'm like, it's kind of like they ripped all of that off. But the words don't rhyme. All right, time for some release dates.
Woo!
All right. Some games that are coming to you this week. Starting on February 11th, you can get Mosaic for PS4, Metro Exodus Sam's Story for PS4, Xbox One, and PC, Yakuza 3 and Yakuza 5 Remastered for PS4, The Unicorn Princess for PS4. Don't know what that is. AO Tennis 2 for PS4, Xbox One, and Nintendo Switch. Dead Cells The Bad Seed DLC, which looks really cool, by the way, for PS4, Xbox One, Nintendo Switch, and PC. I think this is their first DLC ever for that game.
I think so.
It's good to see it's still being worked on. You can also get Under Hero for PS4, Glass Masquerade 2 Illusions, PS4, The Adventures of O.O. Dilly for PS4, Pawarumi. It's all in caps. All
right.
That's for PS4. And Project Starship for PS4. Reed Remastered for PS4. Cosmonauta.
What?
Cosmonauta. Sure, let's run with that. Cosmonauta for Nintendo Switch. Thief Town for Nintendo Switch. And Starcrossed and Space Exodus for PC. Then on February 12th, we have Super Mega Space Blaster Special Turbo for Xbox One. Balls, was that hard to say? I know.
They're getting close.
Rip us off here, man. I probably almost said Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo just like as a habit and had to stop myself for Space Blaster Special. It's a mouthful. Go play that, I guess, if you want. Outbreak Epidemic coming out for Xbox One. The Adventures of O.O. Dilly for PC. And Veritas on PC. Then on February 13th, you can get Azure Lane Crosswave for PS4 and PC. Hidden for PS4. Darksiders Genesis for Xbox One. And the rest is all for Nintendo Switch. So on Nintendo Switch on the 13th, you can get Ride of Insanity, Fire Emblem 3 Houses Side Story Kindred Shadows, Under Hero, Glass Masquerade 2 Illusions, Goblin Sword, Super Loop Drive, and Florence, which is also for PC. And then on Love Day for February 14th, the day has come for Dreams on PS4. There we go. So if we've been waiting for that, February 14th is the day. Darksiders Genesis releases for PS4 and Nintendo Switch. Warriors Orochi 4 Ultimate for PS4, Xbox One, Switch, and PC. Spaceland for PS4 and Xbox One. Under Hero for Xbox One. I don't know why these games have to have different console release days. Glass Masquerade 2. I know, like I feel like consoles one day, PC one day, but what do I know?
Yeah.
But Glass Masquerade 2 Illusions for Xbox One. Speedway Racing for Nintendo Switch. Reed Remastered for Nintendo Switch. The Incredible Adventure of Super Panda for the Switch. Kitty Maestro for the Switch. And Street Fighter V Champion Edition for the PC. And then on February 15th, Evergate for PC. And that's the only game that I gave a crap to report about on the 15th. So go buy that on the 15th. And then it looks like more games will be releasing next week we'll talk about.
Yes. Go get Evergate. Go get Evergate.
And also join their Discord. They're awesome.
Yeah. So we should do a review of Evergate next week.
I'd love to have him back on, actually. See how the last year's journey has made it out for him. I should hit them up. I'm putting you on the spot now since you called me out on Twitter to speedrun your game. I'm calling you out now to come back on the show. Stone Lantern Games, how do you like me now?
That's right, people. If you have not listened to our interview with Stone Lantern Games, go look it up. It's one of our. We did that last year, early last year. I think
like right after the last PAX we went to. I want to say.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, go check that out and hear their wonderful story. They're great people.
They really are.
Love them to death.
They're really a lovely, lovely bunch.
Mm-hmm.
But as far as that, we could move on to our headliner of the show. I thought it would be fun.
Okay.
In Spirit of the Love happening for February 14th. And I know there's some of you out there that enjoy that as a holiday, that we might talk about some fun things. Maybe there was a crush on a video game character growing up that you remember, or maybe there was just some romantic story that happened in a game that just touched your heart. And I thought we could just have a discussion back and forth on our own romantic, lovely experiences with video games and see what we come up with. And we would love to hear yours at home, too. So when you see the going that it's been released on the tweet, come back and tell us your favorite crush or a romantic story on the video game. And let's talk all things love.
Mm-hmm.
So, first one I had is just probably the same crush that every woman my age who plays video games probably had a crush on. And that's, two. The second one, though, will just make sense for me in a moment. But Nathan Drake, I mean, come on. Sure. He's tall, and he's handsome, and he goes after the treasure, and he would, fight for you. Look at how he is with Elena.
Mm-hmm.
They're really freaking sweet, and they play games together. I mean, come on. They play games together in the fourth one. That's amazing. And I just thought those two were super duper adorable together. And now that I know that they're living their life together and possibility of maybe getting to know their kid, maybe in future games, if we're to believe that maybe another Uncharted would actually happen, just maybe not with Nathan Drake. But
hey, Nolan's willing to come back. He said it. He wants to do Nathan Drake again.
Mm-hmm.
So
I'm down for it.
Yeah, I think with his push, it would make it happen. Whether or not he's playable or not, the fact that he would just
that would be
in
irrelevant to me.
He could be the Sully of the game.
That's true. And
Think
we could
about
get
it.
more of his lovely, handsome goodness.
That's right.
And I'm okay with that. Even his voice is very nice to listen to.
It is. It's just wonderful.
So I'm probably, I can't be alone in that. Ladies and gents out there, Nathan Drake was a pretty good get, I think, for a protagonist. Not a bad butt to stare at the whole time too, especially since he has to climb everything. I mean, come on.
I mean, I can't speak to that, but yeah, I mean, it's a nice ass, you know.
You're really rock hard, you know. You could just all that rock climbing he does, everything, you know. Anyway, before we go to just the lusty part of this right here, but I had a huge crush on him playing the game, and I always thought it was extremely fun to go through all the adventures with him. And then, of course, when we wrapped up in the fourth one, spoilers, whatever, it's been out a while if you guys don't know, with those two, it was quite lovely.
Mm-hmm. It was.
Quite lovely playing games together and joking around with each other. It was sweet. I smiled.
I'm with you. I think that was definitely one of the first ones that came to mind when it came to video game relationships. Something that just really worked on such a level, because you can't look at Mario and Peach like that. We don't really have any connection other than, well, he saves the princess. Okay, yeah, but what else is there? We don't see it.
We might have filled in gaps with animation or like Mario cartoons. That's the word I'm looking for. Jesus Christ.
But even
like they
yeah,
might
but
have
even
but not in the
there,
game.
it's vague. I mean, they never really seem to be together, so it's hard to
It's
buy
just like
that
an
as a relationship.
understood.
Yeah,
Like she gets caught, Mario's the one to save her, and that's that. Like it's just it's a weird.
I mean, you could honestly buy Luigi and Daisy more than you could Mario and Peach, which is really weird. But just saying, because I've seen certain things in the games, like they put in the games where you actually see them together. So it's almost like, okay, so they seem like they're together versus these two who don't really, like the occasional peck on the cheek and it's like, oh, I baked you a cake because that's what women do.
Right.
Thing. But anyway, so I was trying to think on, I guess, you kind of mentioned video game crushes and things like that. Now, in certain video games, you have, not all games, but certain games, there are games where you have to woo a woman. You have to start a relationship. And I guess the way to do it is in some ways difficult, to really think that this is the way to do it, But one game that came to mind that I always found fascinating, and for whatever reason I was always drawn to one type of woman, was Harvest Moon. Harvest Moon is like a farming simulator. You inherit a farm, you got to build it up, and then eventually you got to build your life. And in the town, you have potential suitoresses. I guess that's what you'd call it. I don't know the term.
Like you're sewing something, right? Whatever.
Women that you can woo and get into a relationship with. The wooables. And there always seems to be, like, you've got this super sweet, oh gosh, and she'll like instantly fall in love with you, for every sweet thing that you do. Then you've got the one who maybe you've got to work a little bit, but you woo her with because you're a farmer, you're a hard worker, and she's like, oh, I love that about you, and you're just so great. Then you've got the one who's a bitch from like day one. It's like, she's like, what do you want? It's like, I just talking to you guys. She's like, well, just leave me alone. And he's like, oh, fine, gosh, I don't know what I did. But I was always drawn to that. It was like that challenge.
The one that's tough. Yep.
I was like, okay, I'm going to break you. And it's not like it was some machoismic thing for me. Like, I am a man and you're going to love me. It was just like, clearly there's something deeper going on here. The woman who just instantly falls in love with you, that doesn't interest me. I want this one over here who's putting up a shell. She's got a deeper story, and I want to know what that story is. So I'm going to work my ass off, and I'm going to figure this girl out. And I'm going to figure out what makes her tick, because she intrigues me for pushing me away. And I'm just like, all right. So I was always, I guess it's more of a broad thing, but I always crushed on these women with hard outer shells, because I wanted to know why you were pushing me away instantaneously.
More interesting.
Yeah. So I would have to work to get this woman to be like, because you could bring her something, bring her a flower or whatever they tell you to do, and she'd just be like, thanks. It's just very cold, and be like, okay, I'll come back tomorrow. But eventually you'd find things, and she'd be like, all right, well, you're all right. And then once you finally get that that moment of gratification, it's like, yes, I'm in. She said I'm okay.
Did it?
I can just work for another year and I'll have her.
We're so close.
Yeah, so close. But yeah, that always intrigued me. I always liked the women who would not just swoon the moment you came into town and were like, here's a flower, I'm yours. Because there would be those women who'd be like, oh, you're so sweet. Oh my gosh, you're so sweet. I don't know what it was about those hard to reach women. It was more interesting to me.
I could see that. You were hoping maybe they'd have like a more interesting story too once you finally opened them up. Because usually if you can open the door for wooing, you start to get more story.
Yeah. So I open crush to these hard to reach women because I always found them more interesting overall. Because to me, like you said, there's got to be more to it than that. She's not just cutting me out and being cold for no reason. There's got to be more to her story, and I want to know what that story is. I'm interested in you.
For all you know, it was another date that went wrong. You got to know why, so I can avoid
exactly.
it. No, I think
exactly
that's fun. Mm-hmm. That's kind of like how my next little story will go for this. I didn't go the crush angle this time, kind of, but if you've ever played Dragon Age Origins, which was the same thing, where this was the first game I think I played where you could woo a good variety of amount of people. And it was the first time I remember playing a game where I could woo man, woman, elf. Like it didn't matter. It like there was something in it for everyone. But I will say that I did kind of still gravitate toward Alistair. Maybe I'm just like your basic woman after all, you know. But he was funny. He had like the prestige of being, you know, the next in line to be a king. And he's also was one of the ones that had kind of the harder good endings to get. Because with most of them, it could go either way. You're either together or you have to break up for whatever reason. And that also depends on what class you decided to start to play too. Because if you play as a human, you'll probably, well, depending on if you play your cards right, you get the good ending with Alistair where you can be his queen and do all this. But if you're like a mage or anything other than human, he's going to tell you no in the end because his status in life wouldn't allow him to be married to an elf or a dwarf or any other class other than human. And I had to learn that the hard way because the first time I played a mage that was not a human and we were in love, I tell you, we were in love. And he wouldn't propose to me. I was very broken up because the game's very long, mind you. So when you play the whole game out for somebody just to be at the end, be like, wait a minute. But I built you up, man. But I did, of course, go back and play as a human, and we're desperately in love still to this day, I'm sure, on that save game. But but my other favorite one in that was Morrigan. It was fun to woo her also because probably one you might like then, Steven, because she had a lot of layers. She had like intentions and purposes and things that she had angles that she was working here. Whether you thought it was for good or bad is your own moral dilemma that you've got to settle in your own head. But yeah, she was very strong-willed, powerful. She was magic. Come on, magic. You don't get to be magic in real life. So that's definitely where I'm going to go. Sure. But depending on how you played the story, it could be quite sweet. And she was one of the only ones who finally got their DLC too, so we got to flesh out her character a little bit more, which is probably why I had more of a crush on our relationship moving forwards, because I got to actually see a little bit more of what happened to her after the quote-unquote main game ended.
Right.
They were supposed to do a series of those. I'm a little sad it didn't happen, but
well, it's who does that? EA? Is that an EA game?
Good point.
So that explains enough. They got other things they're more focused on right now. Like they couldn't monetize that with they probably
still charge like $5 for it. So.
They could still find a way.
But yeah.
There's no gambling
my
mechanics.
boy for life. Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
It was pre all of that, I think, this game came out. So it was before all this stuff started to happen. But
Right. Well, while we're on the subject of complicated women, I'd say another one.
In a good way.
Yeah, in a way. Another game that kind of came about when it came to complicated relationships and trying to understand where my heart lie. Yennefer in The Witcher.
Oh, yeah. Mm-hmm.
She always had my heart over Triss. And it was really interesting because they fleshed these characters out in such a way that I guess from certain standpoints, I could see myself with someone like Triss. Like it's not outside the realm of possibility, but I was always drawn to Yennefer, you know. So maybe I've just got a thing for lilac and gooseberries. Who knows? But she always, and I knew she was complicated. I knew she had those things that would make her morally questionable in a way, because she would make decisions and you'd be like, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? But at the end of the day, that's where my heart lies. I could not help it. You know?
I love you.
Yeah.
Hey, you're loving her for all her faults too, and that's
right.
what true love is.
It's the complication of the woman, and that's what I love you for all that. So yeah.
Gotta take it all, man. Gotta take it all in.
Yeah, the good, the bad. That's it.
I'm actually with you on that. I was always Team Yennefer myself. Like when the big question, you know, those are always like the big three, right? Yennefer, Triss. Pineapple on pizza, you know, like those are just questions that will be asked from here to eternity.
Sure.
All right. I don't know how many more you had.
Well, the Nathan Drake thing was kind of my third one. So, I guess it would be Elena, but I mean, I'm still kind of running through my head. So keep going.
That's fair. Well, because you mentioned Harvest Moon, I'm actually going to go off script for this because you just reminded me of another crush that I've always had that people always fought me on. And it was when I played Stardew Valley and I chose to marry Alex. And I got no end of grief for marrying the complicated jock. Okay. He did have an attitude, but there was something about him that just, I was like, out of all of my possible suitors, it's this guy. He's got, like you, there's something else going on there. Why is he living with his grandparents? What's the real story that's happening here? Why, you know, he's into sports and he keeps himself kind of hidden and yeah, I married his ass and I'm not sad about it. What's he got to open up? Like, there was a story there. He's lived a rough life, man, and the fact that he could still love, it's a beautiful thing. I was the only one who could crack that. You know that, right?
That's right. You cracked that egg.
He would have never loved again.
And
I cracked the code.
You did it. You made him love.
With gifts of driftwood and freaking flowers and whatever the hell else I picked up off the ground. I gifted the crap out of him until I wooed him. And now we're all like married and junk, but I refuse to have kids. So we're living quite the perfect life actually on Stardew Valley.
Right. And it's funny. Yeah. It's funny what you just mentioned because I was trying to remember what I listened to. I heard something this week, and I feel like it was on that podcast, How Did This Get Played?, where they were talking about relationships in games, where it really seems like the idea of trying to create a relationship in most video games is dependent on giving gifts. Like, here, you take this. Do you like me now? Here, take this. Do you like me now? And there does seem to be this disconnect on how do you do that in video games. Now, some are a little bit more fleshed out because I don't remember giving gifts to Yennefer at all. It was just, you know, kind of being with her, siding with her, you know.
Right.
That seemed to be
all dialogue options.
Right. So to me, that seems to make more sense if you're trying to build a relationship in a games versus here's a gift. Now, if you give them a gift randomly, you know, that maybe something you can do to kind of boost that, sure. You know, you want to give a gift to your significant just because you love them, why not? So I don't think it's a bad thing, but yeah, to not complicate it, but build on
like
it in
spam gifts.
Yeah, don't just spam gifts because that's just kind of so it becomes material at that point, and I don't see a good relationship like that. She's just using me for my flowers and my sticks.
It's been a bit since I played Stardew, but I think you could only give them like one or two a day.
Mm-hmm.
But like a lot of them, you'd have to choose the right gift. Because sometimes you would give them a gift and they'd be like, why are you giving me this? Like they would straight up feedback of this was the stupidest thing you could have given me. Why are you, you know?
Yeah,
and then when you get a nice one, they're like, oh, hey, thanks. I love it or whatever. So I did make sure to meet him outside of grandma's house once a day. to give him like his favorite fruit or whatever it was at the time that he wanted. And finally, he would start engaging me in real conversation. And then we just built from there.
And it
was lovely.
That's what matters.
We have a nice house and a good farm.
That's good.
It
wholesome.
really turned out well.
For sure.
It really turned out well. So all of you Alex haters, he's really lovely deep down. You've just got to be willing to crack through just a little bit. And his love could be yours too in your Stardew Valley.
I mean, yeah. I'm sitting here thinking of other relationships, and I know I've done this in other games, but I'm drawing a blank.
It's kind of hard when you were like forced to sit down and think about it, because when it happens in games, you're not really thinking about it. You're just like, oh, a romantic element, cool.
Yeah, I'm in it.
And then I don't necessarily file it away.
But I do kind of what I was mentioning is we do find ourselves invested in it because we make that choice. So we're just like, that's the woman or the man that I want. And that's what I'm going to zoom in on. So we do consciously make a choice because whatever it is about them intrigues us. And I think those are the more fun crushes in games versus, like you mentioned it off, a few days ago off the pod about the possibility that my first crush would be Lara Croft, and I didn't have any connection to her whatsoever. And even when she did show up on my radar, I was just like, okay.
Well, I feel like that was the most common answer from men gamers that I grew up with. And it might just be like our generation type thing, because probably people these days think of Lara Croft as the brand new games, which were great. And that's fine. But, when she first surfaced, she was like one of the first women protagonists. And of course, very, very top heavy. So, it made the rounds. The guys were like, ooh, like, what is this new thing? So I always just, I guess, maybe it's sexist of me to just assume as a straight male that your first answer was going to be Lara Croft to me.
and I mean, I don't think it's that far-fetched to believe either. I mean, I honestly started to think, I was like, did I actually have a character in a video game that I would say that I crushed on? Because I could tell you, maybe in a comic book or something, Mary Jane Watson from Spider-Man, whew, that was a crush for me. Because, I didn't have a thing for redheads, and then she came along and was like, I'm trying to think about redheads, boy.
Redheads are on the list now, yes.
Yeah, so, but in video games, I'm sure there's one that's come across, and I was just like, whoa, something. But you think about it, and it comes from a lustful place, because most video game protagonists or antagonists, either way, what do they look like? Most of them are scantily clad, big boobed, got to be the perfect.
Or even on the other side, the men are usually very muscular and built and tall and
So I don't feel like it comes from anything like, whoa, she just kind of caught me off guard. It's more like, look at my bosom. And be like, yep, you've got one just like all the others. So maybe that's why my brain never connected to a particular woman in video games. Like, that's my crush. Because, oh my God, she's got something that no other woman has. They all have the same thing.
I was going to say, I don't know if we mentioned it as the playable character too. Because outside of Nathan Drake, we were always more intrigued by the NPCs, if you will, or those kinds of things, which is interesting too, because I wasn't sure if we were going to have where we were crushing on the protagonist the whole time, or who the protagonist we as the player choose to go after.
Right.
From one of those. Which it makes sense, because that's where you as the player, you're investing your time in, instead of just constantly, like me, just staring at Nathan's butt the whole time,
Right.
It's how it is.
I mean, I know somewhere that there's been a video game character that I've looked at and been like, huh. I'm kind of like, I want to see this person again. Let's go back. But my brain has just, I hate to say, shoved her aside somewhere.
It's all good.
Like,
I will just give honorable mentions to one other one though. John and Abigail Marston from the first Red Dead.
Yeah.
Only because Like, was it a perfect relationship or anything like that? Oh, hell no. And it may not have even been the most romantic, but if you really paid attention to how they interacted with each other during like the cut scenes, and he'd put his hands on her shoulders, or, you know, she would yell at him, sure. But at the end of the day, it was always like they came together, they worked on their farm. He promised he was going to give up the life to be with her. We know how that turned out, but he still was doing all of that. He was going to be a farmer. He stayed vigilant and did not cheat on her.
No, he did not.
So that's kind of like a close to probably what like a real life relationship is. They're both extremely flawed humans, but they love each other through thick and thin, regardless of what it is. And they're always going to come home for dinner and be with each other. And it was quite sweet.
For sure. So, yeah, I could agree with that.
Unless you've got another romance or a crush, I think that might be our show.
I think that's it. I can think of no others, and I'm sure there's something else out there I'm forgetting, but
as soon as we're done, we'll probably think of it like, gosh, dang it. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that one. So, no, I'm good.
But yeah, guys, as soon as you see the tweet that this show is up and you've listened to it, come back and tell us who your video game crush or romantic story that just kind of got to you that you would like to mention and discuss with us. Because maybe it's one we hadn't thought of, or maybe you'll finally jog Steven's memory on which one it was that he was trying to think of just a moment ago. You could be helping us all out.
Who knows?
But yeah, that's our show. So hit us up sometime on Twitter at SuperMegaCrash. You can also send us an email at supermegacrash@gmail.com. Find us on Instagram to view the weekly icon art that Steven puts so much time and love into. You can support the show by liking and leaving reviews on your preferred platform, and even going to patreon.com/pencil and paper productions to support the show. Tell your friends to find us. Oh, yeah.
Sorry. I just wanted to throw this out real quick. We have, it's very small right now, but I'm working on some things. Teespring.com. Go there, look for Super Mega Crash Brothers Turbo. We have a very small selection of T-shirts that you can get right now that are based on our characters. We've got Super Mega Crash Brothers T-shirts. We've got a Steven T-shirt, a Lace T-shirt, and even a Todd T-shirt. They're out there if you want to go give them a look. If we get interest there, I will create more. They're very unique in their ways of what they are at the moment.
They're created by you, yeah.
So they're not just simple, avatar designs. But if you'd like to give them a look, I would prefer to get everything up on Teespring, because right now we're kind of at Redbubble, and I kind of let that die because I don't like their practices the more and more I'm working with them. But if you'll give that a look, if you want to go give it a look, please, by all means, go over there. And
I forgot you sent me those. They are super cute, guys. Go check them out. Yeah, they're really cool. So that's another fantastic way to support the show as well. If you check out, they're on Teespring, and decide to lovingly display our logo or said character with pride out in the real world. Be our billboard. That would be fantastic. But you can also tell your friends to find us on the Pencil and Paper Podcast Network, which you can find on Apple Podcast, Podbean, Spotify, Google Play, Stitcher, and even youtube.com/Pencil and Paper Productions. Thank you so much for listening. I am Lacia Finley.
And I am Stephen White.
And join us again next time, Super Mega Crash Siblings. But until then,
game on.
This has been a Pencil and Paper Podcast Network production.